Welcome to the Silvan Australia Podcast, where we talk everything rural lifestyle. Welcome to another episode of the Silvan Australia Podcast. On this episode, I'm out and about and I'm here with Shane Bendotti. Shane, thanks for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you.
Hey Shane, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're part of the Bendotti family, growing avocados here in Pemberton. You're a third generation farmer. Tell us what your father and your grandfather saw in farming and how they got started all the way back then.
I think my grandfather come out by boat after the war and started back growing potatoes, which obviously my father took on with him and then got handed on to me. We were originally potato growers and then moved into avocados about 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been good.
Yeah. Well, tell us a bit about that. 20 years ago, you started growing avocados. I mean, if you look back at that now, the foresight is really incredible, isn't it? Because the avocado is such a strong product, I guess you'd call it. So what did you guys see in the avocado back then?
As I said, we were potatoes, and then we were making good money out of that. Things were going all right, but then it started to tighten up, and I think Dad just rolled the dice with avocados. I think he got some good advice. It originally was just 500 trees as a trial, and then 12 months later we put in another 500, and a couple of years later another 1,000, and just steadily grew like that. And bit of luck, a bit of rolling the dice as well. So it turned out all right.
No, I mean, it's certainly a huge industry now, and it's certainly in Western Australia, and we're seeing a number of avocado growers picking up around the area. So currently you're cropping 20,000 trees, is that correct?
Yes, across about 100 hectares.
Yeah, so what are some of the challenges you see in maintaining an orchard that size?
Just the scale, I think, and it's lucky because it's seasonal with the workers. It's just the summertime that's really busy in the spring, so you get your workers in, you're picking and you harvest and packing, but the scale's the real thing. As you get bigger, you've got to use technology and stuff to help manage bigger areas with the same labour inputs. I
guess like even on a day like today, we've had to drag you out of the tractor because you're in the middle of spraying and your dad's jumped in there because you can't stop, can you?
Yeah,
even
that's right.
This time of the year.
Yeah, just there's a few basics to avocados that we try to keep on top of, and there's a few sprays this time of year that's very important, and you might only get a window of good weather, so get in there and go hard while you can.
So as we're recording this right now, it's the end of July, it's the 30th of July, so you're spraying right now, and as your father was alluding to before, can't stop, you've got to keep going, so you've just jumped out and helped us out with this interview, so we really appreciate that actually.
No worries, all good.
Hey, the brand name Aus-Avo, you acquired that some years ago. What was the governing factor for you guys to take on packing and also distribution of avocados?
There was the old man's foresight that. I think he realised as a smaller grower that when we were sending our fruit away to get packed, it was a massive, massive cost just for that part of the process, and he thought that he could thought it'd be worth trying it, and we just looked at it, and it was good with the guys, all compact gear.
Yep.
They were very good and showed us around, and it looked viable for us, so we rolled the dice again. And
for our listeners that are listening in here, there's a great YouTube video on that particular machine that I can see through the office here, and it also tells a little bit of a story about you guys as well. Your father's in that video, and it's quite an interesting video. So if you are listening, just Google, I believe, if you go to YouTube and go Bendotti family, they'll be able to find that. So that was quite a good resource actually. I found that quite interesting. Look, I mean, there's no secret. Pemberton, sorry, I should call it Pemberton for our Eastern States listeners, but Pemberton and Manjimup, they're really strong areas in avocados. What gives this region what I see as an advantage over the rest of the other areas in the state?
I think number one is our water. We're very, because they're salt intolerant, so we're very clean with water. The climate's a big thing, nice and cool, long growing season, so we get quality of the fruit. And then the soil here drains well, and it's rich carry soil.
Yep.
No one ever thought it would grow here. It's a tropical tree, and
Yeah.
and a few people tried it, I reckon 30, 35 years ago. And
Okay. Yep. We're always seeing new plantations popping up, especially myself. I look after the north of the state, so I see them popping up everywhere. What advice would you give to any aspiring avocado growers looking at taking on a small to medium operation?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I was driving around not long ago. I was thinking these hills used to be full of potatoes and just cattle, and now you drive through Pemberton and manage them up, and it's just orchard after orchard.
Yeah,
so it's interesting to see. But just with anything, I think is the basics. Just got to understand an avocado and how the physiology of it, and then from there, and constant sampling, which we do, soil, leaf, and root tests. And you always measure. Just the basics. And impact.
Yeah, does row spacing come into it as well?
It's a topic of debate.
Yeah.
Some people like wider spacings. Some people go for this if they're lacking area.
Mm-hmm.
They got to tighten them up and hopefully get a return a bit quicker.
Right.
But there's a pros and cons against, and no one has the silver. What's the word? Crystal ball.
Crystal ball or the silver bullet,
silver
I think
bullet,
they call it. The other thing I noticed when we were driving in, Peter, our state manager, he was talking about it. You've done a fair bit of pruning. You've cut right back. Some of those trees were cut right back to the stumps. So has that been? Obviously, they look really good, tip-top shape. Those trees.
That was a bit of a trial and error. Them trees are 20 years old, so we were failing to reach them with an 8-metre cherry picker.
Mm-hmm.
So we done it over 3 years. We cut the middle of the tree out to let some light in the middle and bring the highest point down a little bit. Then 12 months later, we docked one side of the tree off and left a couple of branches still up high, and so the undergrowth started growing. And then last year we docked the last one off, and that was to try and keep production plus stimulate growth again from the bottom.
Okay.
It's worked out pretty good, we think. Hopefully.
So if I talk to my mother-in-law, I'm not allowed to touch her 30-year-old avocado tree, but me and my brother-in-law have been trying to cut that right back, so I'll let her know that's the go. She started crying the last time I cut. That's no joke.
They grow back well, so tell her don't be scared.
Hey, looking to the future, what can you see ahead in terms of challenges in the industry?
I think marketing is going to come into it as a big thing as plantations. I don't know the exact numbers, but from what I've seen and heard, they've multiplied 3 or 4 or 5 times. So obviously then we've got to make sale and keep the price strong enough so the farmer can make a return, and that's a challenge in itself. So far, I think the Avocadoes Australia really marketed and smartly, and it really kept the market strong for us. So that's going to be exports. People are starting to look at that, and hopefully that gets going to help the industry. But there's still plenty of room, I think, in the market, because they're still looking to import avocados. So if we can hopefully fill that market first.
So in your mind, I guess there is room for new players to come in, new growers as well. It's certainly not a flooded market.
Right, currently, but I don't know the numbers on the plantation. So that I think it's going to come on. Production will lift, will spike very soon, and then we'll know.
Okay, all right. The other thing, Shane. I mean, is there somewhere people can go to find out more about Aus-Avo?
It's also Bendotti Avocado. Is another brand we have. We don't actually have a website or anything, but we're looking at putting a QR code on our fruit, and then that'll link us to that video that you talked about on YouTube. That's in the process, so currently not really. So just find it in the market.
No worries.
Anything.
No, excellent. Hey, look, Shane, I won't keep you much longer. I know you got to get back to spraying. So look, thanks for joining us on the podcast. I really appreciate it, and all the best for the future.
No worries. Thanks very much.
All right, tough.